Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a August reading wrap up. I did record this already, but my daughter turned on the TV when I was recording and I thought, oh, I should be fine. No, you could hear the TV. I couldn't take the sound off. So I'm just going to re-record it while my husband is picking her up from school. Hopefully I get it done in that time. But I did very well last month. I read 17 books and I read 7,627 pages. That is the most pages I've read this year so far, and I was very surprised that I read that much. But I have my reading journal right here. I have 7 romanticides, 2 alien romances, 7 reverse harems, and 1 romance. I strive in romanticy and reverse harems, so that's what I mainly read. But a lot of them, the reverse harems I read were rereads. But yeah, I did actually do very well this month, and I was really worried I wasn't going to, but I did well. The first book I read was City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare, which is the 5th book of the Mortal Instrument series, the original series that she wrote for the Shadowhunter universe. I gave it a 4.5. This was good. I really liked how she's with Jace and Sebastian trying to figure things out, and there was a lot of Alec and Isabel and Simon, and it was good. I really love this series, especially like if you have never read romanticy before. I feel like that's my oven. I'm making sourdough bread right now. Anyways, so it's a good romanticy to start with because it's good with like the politics a little bit. It's not too hard to understand. The romanticy world is not, the fantasy world's not too hard to understand. The romance isn't too difficult, but it's very intriguing. So I do really like the series. I do really recommend this series to people. I'm really hoping I can get my cousin to read it because she's getting into reading. She's read Twilight, and I'm like, this one right here, this would be a good series for you just to kind of get more into it. So maybe I can get her to borrow the books. We'll see. Then I read a bunch of Kindle books. So I read Rescued by the Alien Bull Rider by Ursa Dax. I gave that one 5 stars. That one is my favorite of the series by far. Like, by far. I absolutely love Zorro, and I loved Jolene. I forgot her name for a second. I loved it. I loved that Zorro, he was literally a doctor as a kid, pretty much. Like, he was a rising star, and he killed somebody, so he got put on this planet. And Jolene is pregnant, and she only has a month until she's due to have her baby. And she tells her dad finally, because she's been hiding it. And her dad's like, get out of my house. Get out of my house. So she hears about this planet. Doesn't know that they're convicts, but she gets herself to this planet, gets to Zorro. Zorro's infatuated with her. He just is so excited she's there. He knows she's pregnant. He learns everything he can about pregnancy and delivery and everything after. Like, he studies hard. And it was just so beautiful. Like, the whole relationship of theirs, to me, is the strongest relationship out of all of them. I absolutely loved this book, and I really am excited because there's a new one coming out, I think next month in October, and I'm gonna have to read it right away. But yeah, I really, really did like that one. If you like alien romances, I'd give it a chance. It is funny. It's a good time. It's funny because they don't speak the same language and their anatomies are different. So there's things about her that he just doesn't understand, and there's things about him that she doesn't understand, and it's total confusion, and it is funny. I crack up laughing every time I read these books. Then I read Fate Hollow Academy Term 1 by Lyra Winters. I gave this one 5 stars. This, I'm pretty sure, is the very first reverse harem book I've ever read. I think it was this series was my very first reverse harem series ever. And I can honestly say, because I read all of them this month, and I'll go through them, but this one is by far my favorite because you get introduced to all the mates because she's with 7 men. There's Thorn, Alistair, Damien, Keon, Rowan, Lachlan, and Rhett. There's a lot of them. And like, one's a fire drake, one is a necromancer, one is an ice fae, one is a succubus, one is a not a vengeance demon. That's what his parents are. He deals with pain. You got a werewolf shifter, and then you have a vampire. I mean, you got everything. And the main girl, Ren, she is an Arctic fox shifter. And I just wasn't a big fan of her. I loved all the men. Wasn't a fan of her, like, the entire time. But yeah, it did like getting into the world, and it's an academy setting, and it's chaotic. It's chaotic, especially the first one was very chaotic, but it was like going places. But it just, after this book, the plot kind of died for me personally. Then I read 2 and 3. So I'll kind of summarize them together. 2, I gave 4 stars. 3, I gave 3 stars. The plot started like not being important. I feel like this could have been like a duology. I don't think it needed to be 4 books. I liked in the second one, the reason I gave it 4 stars, the second one had a lot of the character growth. Is her learning where her mates are from and learning why they agree with what they say or they don't agree or whatever. Like, that was amazing. I loved that she was going to, like, with Damien and Rhett, they're both demons. One's a succubus, one, he's like the shadow demon guy. I love Damien. Damien was my favorite. And she goes to their world. She goes to where all the demons are. And Damien's parents just love her so much. And she meets Rhett's dad, doesn't really like him, but he's really easy not to like. And then she does go to the Ice Fae realm. She goes to the Necromancer village. She goes to the Werewolf village. Like, she goes to all their villages, like where they're from. The only one she doesn't go to is Rowan, but there's a big reason for that. And I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a big reason why she does not go there. And she's not around any other fire drakes or dragons or anything like that. It just felt like in these 2 especially, everything was getting repetitive. I felt like we were always just saying, I love you on every single page. I felt like they were just going at it to go at it. And I was like, okay. Or she would turn into an Arctic fox shifter or getting out of it. And then like, oh my gosh, she's just so cute when she's a little fox. And then she would like snarl at him and be like, but I'm dangerous. And I'm like, but you're not. You're not dangerous. And you're really not trying to protect yourself. You're really not trying to, everything going on is pretty much almost about you. And you're really not learning anything. You're making the guys kind of do it all. I felt like she was very weak. She didn't try anything. And like, I don't mind a weak FMC, but this just seemed like a lot. It's like, girl, all because you have 7 men does not mean you have to depend on them. Like, learn how to protect yourself, please. Like, let's get some kind of self-defense going on here, because everything that was going on, she could be taken at any time. And these guys, what if they were going to the bathroom and then all of a sudden she's gone? Like, she needed to learn something. So I did start getting irritated by book 3. That's when I really started getting irritated. And I was like, okay, I need to take a break from Fate Hall Academy. So then I got into It's Kind of a Bunny Story by Sedona Ash. And I gave this one 4 stars. This one was not my favorite of the series. I don't know if there's any more. It's the 3rd one of the Hey There Hop Stuff series. It's about bunny shifters. They're usually women. And they are part of a burrow. And she had another friend, Fletcher. He's a bunny. He helped her escape. They were as bunnies for like 2 weeks. And then they're trying to get to this werewolf community that 2 other bunnies have found solace at. And they found their mates there. And they're trying to get there to become safe. And she goes into heat. And Fletcher goes to the community and tells them what's going on. 2 wolves come and they just start going at it. They're effing like bunnies. That is the whole point of pretty much the book. But it just felt like there wasn't a lot of character growth between her and the men. There was a lot of character growth for herself. It was like a redemption arc, but it just didn't feel like they really grew like as characters individually or really grew together. It just kind of fell flat a little bit. I'm sticking with 4 stars, but sometimes I wonder if it should be less. I don't know, because I enjoyed it and I read it in like 2 days, 3 days, but still, it just wasn't my favorite of the series. Well, then I read City of Heavenly Fire, which is the last book of the original Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. This one's a chunky boy. He is 725 pages. He big. And he took me a very long, like 5-6 days to read. And I did really enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars. This series to me is a 5-star series. This series is great. I love this series. Again, if you're getting into romantasy, I think that these are perfect. But this one was just good. The ending, I forgot the ending because I read these over 10 years ago. I cried. And my husband's like, "You've read these before." Yes, 10 years ago. And I forgot what happened. And oh my God, the ending got me so hard. Like, what they had to go through was difficult, but they pushed through. They pushed through. They did it as a team. They worked together. And that was my thing, is like, I was afraid that they wouldn't do that. So, but they did. So I was like, oh, thank God. But it's good. And you got a lot more of Alec and Magnus because they are by far my favorite couple of the Shadowhunter universe. They are by far my favorite couple. You get a lot of Gem from Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess. That trilogy. He's in this one quite a bit. But I really liked this series. I say if you want to get into romantasy, I would give this a chance. Okay, then I read 2 reverse harems that I've never read before. I read Storm of Shadows by Hannah Hayes, plus the second book, Spark of Sorcery. There will be a third soon, so I'm really excited. But you're following Bryony, which I don't even know if I really like that name that much, but I digress. I didn't write these books. So there's Bryony, and she has to go to this academy, and they're all forced to go. And she's like bottom of the barrel. Bottom of the barrel, like the worst of the worst. And he makes friends with this guy named Fly. Why his name is Fly, I don't know. But there's one guy that he just like sees her, his name is Buford, and he's immediately, "You're coming to our room." She's like, "No, no, I'm not doing that." She doesn't, and she pays for it. So Buford, the man, his name is Bo, whatever. He part of like a brotherhood with 3 guys, Dre, Bo, and Thorn. And Bo, he just has like magical abilities, I think. And then Dre is a werewolf shifter, and Thorn also has like the shadow powers, and so does Dre. They all can wield shadows. Bryony cannot. That's why she's bottom of the barrel, because she does not have these powers. So it's just really interesting, the dynamic, because like they're really mean to her, but they're not like bullying her. It's that they want to protect her, but she's not letting them protect her because she's being bullied by other people. But they can protect her, but she's not letting them do that. So it's really interesting what's going on, because in the second one, like they start getting closer. You know, the spice is starting to amp up a little bit. But the one that she's really getting close to is Thorn, and the other guys don't know why, because he doesn't talk to anybody, but he talks to her, but he won't touch her. He will not touch her, like, and he wants to, but he's afraid he will hurt her. So I really liked it. But then in this one, another man gets introduced. He's in the first one, and I was like, he seems important. And in the second one, it's confirmed, like, he is important. His name is Fox. And I'm like, you are a professor. Like, what is going on here? And things go down big time. And I like that in this, in each one, there's a trial. And in the trials, you get points. Well, she did the first trial. How she was in there for so long, nobody knows. And she got no points. And they're like, how did you get no points? That's unheard of. She got no points. No points at all. And she got it on both. And she just gets screwed in the end every time. But I really like these. I like Bryony because she is trying to protect herself. She is trying to learn. But she's not letting these guys do everything for her. Like, she wants to do it on her own. So it's really interesting. And I think there's something special about her. And I think we're going to learn it in the next one. Because stuff is going down and some of it doesn't make sense. And you still don't know. And it's already going to be the 3rd book. So I'm like, I'm really interested to see what Bryony can do. Because I feel like she's got something under her sleeve. Then I read The Wren in the Holly Library. This is a reread for me. I gave it 4.25 stars. I loved it just as much as when I read it the first time. I really, really, really love this world. It is technically urban fantasy. There's cars, there's phones, there's stuff like that. But there's also warlocks, demons, wizards, there's shifters, there's vampires, there's sirens, there's everything. And it is so good. Kier's, which I don't like that name either, but I digress. I didn't write these books. But Kier's, she is hired to go into this guy's house to steal something. His name is Graves. Graves, oh, I love him so much. And he figures out that she can get through his ward. So he hires her to steal something. So in this book, they're working together to steal something. And then in the end, they do get together, which I love their relationship so much. Like, I love their relationship. Couldn't get enough. And and then you get introduced to Lorcan, and in the very end, you learn a lot of new things. And it's just like, excuse me, what? That is literally how I felt the first time. And like the second time, there were some things that I like forgot in the reveal, but some of them I remembered. So whenever it was revealed, some of the stuff I didn't remember, I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Like now I remember, and that makes more sense as to why other things happened. So I did like doing my reread of this, because then right after that, I jumped into The Robin on the Oak Throne. So I gave this one a 4.5. I know this third one is going to be so good. This third one is going to be so freaking good. I already know it. I love her writing, just the explanation of everything. And I love that they work together again to steal something, but Graves is actually letting other people help because Kierce wants help. And he's not used to working with other people. She is. And he's like, yeah, we'll work with other people, bring them in. And he's been opening up so much. And something happens to the point where they should not be together, but they get back together. And they always are back. They always find a way back to one another. And I just thought that was beautiful. Beautiful, no matter what, they are with each other. And I just loved seeing that in this book, and the action and the description of things. Like, I was hooked. I was hooked in this book. I loved this book. I cannot wait for the next one. And I had a fluffy alien romance by Ruby Dixon, which is the 2.5 of the Ice Planet Barbarians. Is the Ice Planet Honeymoon by Rahosh and Liz. I don't know how to say his name, but it's 35 pages. I only gave it 3.5 stars. I don't feel like I could give it more than that because it is only 35 pages. But there was a lot of character growth for Rahosh, whatever his name is, and Liz. Like, there was actually a lot of character growth in those 35 pages. And like, he just doesn't believe that he is worth anything and he's not good enough for her. And she's like, yes, you are. And it's him learning that he is. It was beautiful. It was beautifully written. 35 pages, got character growth, 3.5 stars. Like, it couldn't be any more than that, but it couldn't be any less either. So then I read The Forbidden Dragon King by Rosemary A. Johns, which is the first book of the Shadow Kings. I gave it 3.5. I wish I could have given it more. I just couldn't do it because almost the entire book, I was like, where's the plot? What are we trying to do here? Like, I'm confused, like what we're trying to accomplish. Like, I didn't know where we were going the whole time until the last 20%. And I'm like, oh my God, this last 20% is what I've been wanting this entire book. And it was just reveal after reveal after reveal. And I'm like, wait a minute. Nothing ever happened like the first 80%. And I was like, I'm so confused. But like the way it ended, I was like, well, I have to read the next one. This one isn't even out yet. It comes on September 11th. It comes out in a few days. But I need the next one. And I don't know when it's coming out, but I need it. But Freya, like, I liked Freya. She had a lot of spontaneity. Wasn't like her biggest fan, but I liked her. Aurelius, I really didn't like, because you don't really know anything about him. Like, you're even in his point of view, and I don't know nothing. I didn't know anything, and I just could not get attached. And then Drain, loved him. The things that were happening to this poor man, And I was so like in tears when he was on page. When we were in his point of view or anything happened when he was on page, I was in tears. He was the one character I cared about. He was really the only character I cared about. I didn't really care about Freya. I didn't really care about Aurelius. I only cared about Drain. And I need more. So he is oh man, because Aurelius is the Dragon King, and Drain can shift into a bird. I think it's a bird. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember right now. I've read quite a few books since then, but I'm pretty sure he turns into some kind of bird. And yeah, it's not my favorite. The spice just, meh, it wasn't really my favorite either. It was Drain. Drain was the reason why I kept reading. Plain and simple. Then I picked up ACOTAR. I know, it's been a long time that I've been on here and I haven't read it yet, but I was waiting for them to go on sale. And I think every time I looked them up, I was missing the sale date. So I at least read the first one by audio. And it's really the first audiobook I've read in a long time. And it took me a few days. I gave it 3.5 stars only because I hold Sarah J. Maas at a higher standard than other authors. I've read all of Throne of Glass and I've read the first 2 of Crescent City. And once I finished the second one, I realized I do have to read this before continuing on. And I have the third one. So I gave it 3.5 mainly because this one, it was mainly all world building and the plot. And I was just learning everything. And that was so well done. And I wish there was a little bit more of the relationship between her and Tamlin or her and Rhysand. And that would have bumped it up a little bit more. But what we had, I think, was what we really needed. Like, I don't think we needed any more, but I would have just preferred more. But I really thought in this one was when Tamlin, like, really, like, makes her mad and, like, she decides to be with Rhysand. But it's not in this one. I know Rhysand is endgame, but I don't know. I am so confused. But Tamlin really made me mad in this. He started making me mad. And I'm just like, I just don't understand why she's still like trying to be with him, Feyre. And then Rhysand at the end, I was like, wait a minute. And I'm like, there's no way. And I'm still waiting for the second one, audiobook for on Libby. So that's why I haven't read it yet. Otherwise, I probably would have jumped right into it and just finished the whole series by now. But I have not. But it's good. I do really like it. And I really hope that I can get the books because I know she's going to have the 6th one out. And I want to read them physically when that one comes out. So I want to read them all by audiobook. And then I want to see if I catch more by reading physically than audio. Because I feel like with audiobook, I don't listen as well or retain as much information as well as I would have physically. But we're going to try this out. I know I'm going to be like a reread and I'm going to know what's going on. But I think by the time that 6th one actually comes out, I may forget a little bit and remember and get a refresher in here. But I do have to say, her family, Feyre's family, sucks. I hate her family. I don't like her dad and I don't like her sisters. Even Elaine, like she's supposed to be gentle. I don't care for them at all. Like they make Feyre do everything and it really irritated me. It really irked my nerves every time they were talked about or they were on page. I was like, oh my God, just like go away. Go away. I couldn't stand them. So then I read Wild Love. This is the only contemporary book I read for the month by Elsie Silver. And this is the first Elsie Silver I've ever read. This I gave a 4.25. I knew from here on out, the books were just going to get better and better. I knew, and I have to say, this was so good. I loved Ford, like just his personality, and I loved Rosie's personality. Them together I just loved them. I loved their banter. I loved their bickering, and I love that they always tormented each other, but that was their love language. Not my love language, but it's their love language. And it just worked so well. And I loved Cora, which is Ford's daughter. So this is the one where he donated sperm, and that's Cora. Cora is from that. And her mom needs help. Her dad passed away. Her, like, not biological dad, but the other dad passed away. Mom's kind of having issues. Mom needs help. with Cora. She's 12 and she's obsessed with music, and that's what he does. And so he takes her under his wing, and just their relationship between them two was so beautiful to watch. And I just loved it so much. And I really want to finish the series because I know the fourth one is coming out soon. And I really want to read these. And I think I want to get more of Elsie Silver because I think her writing style is right up my alley. So then I read the last book from Fate Hollow Academy. I gave it 3 stars. But in all actuality, I probably should have given it less because I skimmed the last 50% of that book. It said I had another 3 hours, and the first 3 hours of it, I couldn't handle it anymore. Like, it was so repetitive, and it was just spice after spice after spice. There was no plot at all. Couldn't handle it. So I just skimmed the last 50%. And even like the fight just didn't, I didn't really care about it at all at this point. And then the epilogue was when I locked in, read it, and like she had 8 kids, and each one has their own. Like she has Rowan's kid, she had Alistair's kid, she had Thorne's, Rowan, Damien, Lachlan, Rhett, and I think one of them was twins, but they're also an Arctic shifter like her. So they had one of each because there's 8 of them total, and it was just like their second birthday or their third birthday or something like that. I'm like, I like that epilogue, but the rest of it I could have done without. That's why I was saying it could have just been a duology, and I think it would have meant more as a duology than 4 books. So, yeah. I mean, if you've never read Reverse Harem and you want to get into it, I think this would probably be good for that because it's not super political. It's not super plot heavy. It's not very confusing. You're kind of like dabbling your feet in because like this was, I think, my very first Reverse Harem series I've ever read. I've read a lot since, and then when I reread it, I was like, oh, this isn't very good. But I think dabbling into Reverse Harem, this might work. Well, then the last book I read for the month, Shield of Sparrows by Daphne Perry. This is a 5-star book. There's nothing wrong with this book. Not a single thing. I mean, I was shocked throughout this entire book. Like every 50 pages, I was like, wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, literally, what do you mean? So this is the only book I've read from her before, and this is her first fantasy. I do want to read all the other stuff that she's ever written. I want to read it, but I need this second book in my hand right now. And I know it's going to be a while, but I am so into this world. I love this type of world, this fantasy world with just the horses and the traveling, and I eat that up. I love the description of the monsters and the descriptions of the fighting and the romance of it all. Like, it was so good. The ending was beautifully done. The ending is very, very traumatic. It's very sad, but it was written so well. It was written beautifully. And I was so locked in. When I finished the book, I just stared off into space. And my husband was sitting next to me and he goes, did you not like it? Like, did you not like the book? And I was like, I love the book. I've got to sit with it for a minute and process what I just read. And he goes, really? And I'm like, yeah. And not even a few minutes later, I got on my phone, looked on Libby for the audiobook, and they're going to have a graphic audio of this book on Libby, especially like for my library in November. I immediately put a reminder on there for when it comes in because I need my husband to read this. I think my husband would absolutely eat this up with the fact of it's all this fighting. And like I told him, it's a lot of fighting. It's a lot of travel. There's things going on. But the graphic audio, you're going to probably hear the swords. You're going to hear like the crunching of leaves. You're going to hear them. It's almost going to sound like a movie, but you're going to be, there's no like actual screen of it. And I go, the romance, it didn't start until about 150 pages, like from the end. You see them together twice. And then after that, it's all closed door. It doesn't show anything after that. And even the first 2 times, they're not really descriptive. They're not very detailed. And I really liked that. I like my spice. But with this type of writing, it was done beautifully. It was done exactly how it should have been done. But I can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with this book. But yeah, so that's the 17 books I read for the month. I did read quite a few like physical books and Kindle books. I have it written down. Let's see. I don't have it written down, actually. I thought I did. I know I only have one audiobook. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 of the 17 books I read on Kindle. 1 was an audio, 6 were physical books. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. But I really, really enjoyed my reads for the month. The only ones that I kind of wish I didn't read was Fate Hall Academy. I remembered things from it, and I kept thinking, oh, I think it was in this series, and it wasn't in that series. It was this one, and I was like, I kind of wish I didn't reread it because I kind of ruined it for myself. But, I mean, it happens. You don't always love everything forever. Like, maybe in a few years, I won't even like Shield of Sparrows. I doubt it. I doubt it. I think I'm going to still love it in a few years, but I mean, it could. It could happen. Like, I was obsessed with House of Night by PC Cast and Kristen Cast. And the second time I read it, I'm like, this is like a 2-star series. So I put them up on my Pango. I was so obsessed with them before, but it's just not who I am anymore. So it's good to reread. So then you can take books off of your shelf that you no longer love, but everybody else can enjoy. So that's why I've never been a rereader until last year. I started rereading books. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying doing rereads. And I really want to continue doing rereads. But yeah, that's what I've got for August. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope you comment down below if you've read any of these or based on any of these, what you think I would like to read. Let me know. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe down below. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.